Welcome back to High Tech Archery's YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jeremiah. If you like this content, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all of our pro shop tips. Today, we're going to be talking about arrow spine and selection. So with arrow spine and selection, we want to make sure that we get the right arrow matching that our bow and the application we're going to use it for. So there are some small differences between hunting and target arrows. But generally, you can almost shoot any arrow for any application, but there are limitations. You want to make sure you get the right arrow to match the weight that that bow is pushing. So right here, I have two arrows. One of them is a 600 spine, one of them is a 1000 spine. If we were to flex these arrows, I'll start off with a 1000 spine, and I can flex it like this. This has a lot of flex to it. So generally, this is only going to be shot out of a light poundage bow. And this is a 600 spine. This one has a little bit less flex to it. So this is going to have a heavier bow be pushed through this. You want to make sure that we get the right arrow for our application so we don't overbend these arrows because they do have the ability to break. Basically, in physics sense, what's happening is as the energy is being pushed into this weight here is kind of stopping it a little bit, so it's going to flex mid-flight, and you'll actually, in slow motion, you'll see the arrow flex like this, and then finally stabilize and fly straight. The arrow coming out of the bow doesn't actually fly straight, it flexes around the bow. When we match up arrows, what we actually want to do, and I'll come around, we have this Easton arrow selection chart. So what we do is if you go to a pro shop or you figure out your draw length, which was mentioned in a previous video, you'll see if we match the draw length here, I'm at a 29 to a 29.5 inch draw, so I'll be in between 29 and 30. And I'll tell you the weight of my bow, I shoot about 38 pounds. So on a recurve side, 38 pounds to the 29 to 30 inches, that gives me group T6 or T7. This is Easton's arrow selection chart. So what I'll do now is I'll go down to group 6 or group 7, and it'll tell me what arrows are available for me that will match up for the application of my bow. You want to make sure you get this right, because if you get one that's too stiff, it'll fly a little funny. If you get one that's too weak, it may overflex and again fly a little funny. We want to make sure, if we're not sure, to always shoot at least a little stiffer of an arrow. Because if we shoot an arrow that's too weak and we overflex it, that can happen. So, each of these arrows that I have here, we have a 350 spine, 400 spine, and a 500 spine. As we look at these arrows, you'll see that a 350 spine is roughly rated between 60 to 75 pounds of pull weight, of draw weight being pushed through it. A 400 is between 40 to 60 pounds, and a 500 is between 35 to 50 pounds of weight being pushed through it. Now, there are always other parameters that, if you're not sure, it's best to go to a pro shop for them to help you out to figure out what arrow would be best for you. Point weight has a lot to do with how much an arrow can flex, having a weak tail, other things. There's many factors that the pro shop is there to help you figure out. Arrow technology has also come a long way. In arrow technology, I have right here one of the more advanced arrows. This is Victory's VXT. This is strictly a competition target arrow. What they've done with this arrow is they've made it to where you have a lot of what they call FOC, or front of center weights. Basically, what this arrow is designed to do is for the first 10 inches is a parallel shaft. So there's a lot of weight forward. After the first 10 inches, it tapers down 1 degree all the way to the tail. So it has a weak tail. So picture a bird flying. When it's flying, its tail feathers will flip back and forth to stabilize it to make sure it's going in the direction it wants to go. Essentially, the same thing is happening here. All the weight forward is pulling this arrow. The weak tail is stabilizing it, so you get a much more accurate arrow flight. On all the high-end competition target arrows, they do have technology similar to this. Now, with these arrows, if you're interested in these, Victory does offer a spine selection chart. or a spine selection kit. So the kit comes with it comes with 6 arrows that have 2 different spines in them. I shoot a 550, so my selection kit came with a 630 and a 550. So you can test these arrows out before you purchase them. To me, that was one of the greatest things that an arrow company has done. These are expensive arrows. They're about $320 for a dozen shafts. So I want to make sure I get the right arrow for my application, and this offers that. In conclusion, if you're not sure about what arrows you want to shoot or that will match your weighted bow, again, always go to a pro shop. We are always here to help you out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. If you liked this content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all of High Tech Archery's pro shop tips.